Hello. How are you all? I know I'm just a little bit late, but I created that timer and I so badly wanted to use it. How's everybody doing out there? This is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, and I love helping women align with their life purpose using ancient wisdom so that they live confidently and courageously the lives that they know they deserve, the amazing lives that you know you deserve, goddesses. That's what Goddess Body Mind Spirit is all about. Welcome, happy Friday. This is, hey Carlton, hey Jasmine. This is our spiritual happy hour. So happy to see everybody here. Let me know, chime in. I already see two people are here. My nephew, Jasmine. What's up? How's everybody doing out there? Let's wind down this week. I would love to hear from you on how was your full moon in Leo. How was that for you all? So yeah, let's go on ahead and talk about what are we going to talk about this evening. I so badly want to plan ahead and have topics and all that, but y'all know I'm a little bit of a channeler. I'm just trying to get my camera. I don't know why my camera feels a little bit like it's not centered. And then there's my foam roller over there, so I can't take it. Yeah, I got to pick up the foam roller and move it. I thought I was going to be able to leave it out, but can't stand it not looking centered. Um, so what I want to talk about tonight is just a little bit about basic spiritual, like the foundations of spirituality. I had started this series a while ago, and then, 2020 happened, and I just got a little distracted. It was like every week I got on, I just wanted to share what I thought would help everybody, given what we've been experiencing. I want to talk about what 2021 is already looking like also. Just to kind of show you all why part of the reason why I love astrology so much, because it helps to explain some things. I know I've put this out in my inner circle, maybe to my email list. Please feel free to go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com, and get on my email list. I send out one email per week. And typically I'm sharing something that I think is highly beneficial. And more than likely, I haven't shared it any other place. So yeah, you can do that. But one of the things that I have told some of you who are in my inner circle on my email list is that some of what we see going on in the world, it actually can be explained by higher wisdom. Some people channel it, and I admire those people deeply. As wise and all-knowing as I seem, I can channel. I guess I'm not going to take it for myself, but I use astrology. I use oracles. And so some people use astrology, some people use numerology. Some people look at what's going on in nature. There are so many ways to explain what is to come. To be honest with you, I don't know a lot about Nostradamus, but it's sort of like you hear people talking about these prophecies that he's made, or sometimes it's in spiritual books that we hear. There's a number of ways that people have shared. This is perhaps what they're looking at is the past, because we work in cycles and they can see what cycle we're in, and they can tell why something is happening in the way that it's happening. And that is one of the reasons I love astrology. Actually, that's how I got into astrology, fam. I got into astrology because I was so despondent after the elections here in the United States in 2016. I did not understand how in the world did the election turn out the way that it did. And it wasn't a lot of spiritual teachers that I listened to talking about it. And I understand there are people who are living in a spiritual manner where, they're not keeping up with the news. Not a whole lot that goes on in the world moves them because they're so steeped in higher reality. That's not where I was. And I was devastated. I was terrified. I did not understand what was going on. And then I started listening to astrological reports and began to understand, why did one person beat the other? Sometimes when you hear people talk on YouTube, we kind of censor what we say because the AI is so good at picking up stuff, and it could like ding us, zap us, or whatever, you know. But y'all know who won and y'all know who lost. And so once I began to hear the astrology, I was like, okay, maybe one has a stronger chart than the other. That's exactly what I looked at. Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to give y'all an interesting fact that I haven't typically shared. There's a Babalawo who I don't really keep up with anymore, but at the time, back in 2008 and 2012, he used the Ifa Oracle to predict who was going to win the presidential election. And based on the Odu, and I remember, I want to say it was the 2008 election. It was an Odu. Maybe it was something like, I don't know if it was Oyeku or Oshay. No, not Oshay. Osa. Those are the names of the wisdom texts. But I think it was something with Oya that spoke through this particular Odu. And both times he called it for President Obama. And both times he won, right? Now, the 2016 election, it really and truly threw a lot of astrologers in for a loop. I saw no one in any other world making predictions about 2016. I saw no one besides the astrologers. Now, astrologers, they have agendas and they want to be so right. But I believe they all did the best they could do. But there were a tiny few, very few, that called it for the person who won. Probably I don't say that person's name because I don't like that person. Anyway, called it for that person. And I be doggone. You know, once I started looking at the astrology, it was about who had the stronger chart. Like what's going on in that chart that would indicate there's going to be, you know, some up level, or maybe there's not a lot of strength to their chart during the time of the election. And so I was like, whoa. So then with this last election, the majority of the astrologer teachers that I listen to, who I trust, they called it for now President Biden, and they gave reasons why. So the same way we're looking at all of those, and it helps me to not lose my mind here lately. Maybe I won't care so much in the future, but I've needed to know. I've needed to be given some insight. Am I going to get free? Anywho, we can use those same concepts to understand what is going on in society. And so the ladies in my inner circle, and anyone who has listened to me, anyone I have talked to, I don't know how much I talked about it here because that was when I kind of got overwhelmed and didn't, had COVID and everything. And so I didn't come on as much with you all. But I started telling everybody who I presented to, 2021 is not going to be 2020, but it's not necessarily going to be an easy year. And so when January 6th happened here in the United States, those of us who know what cycle we're in and who know what's going on, it was shocking, but we weren't fully surprised. We were like, oh, there it is. It was horrible, but there it is. Okay, so I said now that, I can breathe and not be terrified of what am I going to wake up to? What madness am I going to wake up to in the United States? I can now start venturing out and looking at world events. Now, I want y'all to tell me, and first of all, let me just hold up and say, hello, Tara. Hello, Felicia. What's up, T. Luna Imhotep? Hello, Cynthia. How are you? And hello, Keisha Gay Anderson, poet emeritus of the Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. So Welcome, everybody. It's so good to see you all. Okay, so yes, we had. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, we're looking at the cycles. We're looking at what's going on, and so I decided, let me start looking at world events. So I'm putting this out because I'm getting more and more clarity in the message that I bring, which I've never deviated from this message, but I'm becoming more certain now of understanding what is my cycle. What is your cycle? What is the focus and what is the emphasis right now? We have our personal cycles and we have the cycles of the world. And so what we will begin to see, 2020 basically just tore the band-aid off. 2020 said, you know what, we're shutting this chapter down, or whatever we want to call it. This time in history is being shut down because now it's time for something new. We want to change it up. It's getting a little boring doing the same old, whatever that means, right? So, yes, we have Saturn in Aquarius. Now, Saturn is about structure. And just think about 2020, what Saturn was in there with, even 2021, not 2019. It was this energy of dissolving. It was a lot of dissolving energy. Woo! With Saturn. And so the structure got dissolved. And so now Saturn is going to be bringing up more structure. And Saturn is like, get real. And Saturn is also like, y'all going to learn this lesson. Okay. Y'all are going to get this. We're getting ready to get everything together up in here. Now, something I find interesting is Saturn, a lot of times, especially as it relates to Capricorn, is for the government. It's for the people who are in charge. It could be the boss. It's also the energy that could have to do with it's like this energy that's like very bossy. Let me just put it that way. But Saturn, a lot of times, as the planet, is looked at as the people, especially oppressed people, because Saturn, it's an energy that has to do with burdens, right? So we match that planet with the sign of Aquarius, baby. Aquarius. Aquarius is about being free. Aquarius is about, hey, everybody deserves equality, equity. We need to spread these resources out, baby. They've been up at the top way too long. Aquarius is about the people, and it's about activism and people saying, you know what? I have been quiet too long. Just notice how this is happening. All groups that have been oppressed, we are getting more and more like, you know what? I've been nice way too long to y'all. It's over. It is time for us to stand up and raise our voice. That's what's happening down there in Aquarius. Saturn is down there. So is Jupiter. Jupiter is about justice. And Jupiter is about, you know what? Hey, we got to make right by everybody. And it amplifies energy. So now we have this energy of Aquarius and Saturn, which a lot of people say it represents oppressed people, poor people, but especially in this Aquarius energy, okay? In Capricorn, not so much. Those are the ones that's trying to like oppress everybody, keep all the wealth at the top. And in Capricorn and in Aquarius, it's us, we the people, okay? We got all this going on. Jupiter's amplifying it, saying, hey, everybody deserves abundance and wealth and knowledge. This is what we have going on, okay? But let me tell y'all what was really making this energy heighten up. One of the planets that is associated with Aquarius is called Uranus, however you want to say it, all right? It's the planet that is on its side and like, I just do what I want to do. I ain't going to be like everybody else. I'm going to be different. But Uranus is this energy that comes in. It's like, you know what? everything's going to change right now. Boom, everything's changing. And whatever we got to do, this energy of Aquarius and Uranus is about adventure. It's like we don't have nothing to lose. Let's go for it, because guess what? You need an up level. So Uranus, that rules Aquarius, and so does Saturn. Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. They are communicating all year long. And they're not like, hey, how you doing? Hey, Uranus, how you doing over there? And Uranus is not like, Saturn, is that you? You enjoying it down there in my house? No, they're like this. It's time to make change. It's a poke, a poke, a poke, a poke, a poke. It's called a square aspect. They are clashing. They are like, you know what? Folks say they won't change. The government won't change. Corporations aren't changing. But the people say they want change. It's time for us to bring change. And a lot of times we already know this. How is the change going to happen? The people will say, and it is so. We're getting ready to get out in these streets. We're getting ready to get some petitions signed. We're going to be running for office and taking over, local and state governments and whatever they're doing up there in DC. Lord have mercy. We need some new energy in DC. Aquarius is about, we're just going to start, creating our own communities. The government won't take care of us. Not a problem. Not a problem. We can just get on this technology, this internet, and figure out how to make this happen for ourselves. These young people nowadays are so freaking techie. Like, seriously, they probably are going to, I don't know, if we start flying around in these cars, it's going to be these young people that design it. These young people are so freaking techie. And oh my gosh. So yeah, all that's going on, right? Between Saturn and Uranus. It's going to be social unrest. So let me see if y'all have seen it. Hello, Aquarian T and Diza. How are you? Have y'all noticed the social unrest that we have going on in the world right now? These are the cycles that we see happening. And these are the cycles that all of us can embrace and look at and understand. I just need to figure out what my part is in all of this. I do believe we are all going to be getting more clarity for ourselves on how do I show up in the world to help the collective. And at the same time, how do I make sure I remain true to myself and to my destiny? What I talk to the ladies in my inner circle about is, hey, the best thing you can do is to live your destiny unapologetically, even if it doesn't seem to match what's going on right now. One of the things I always talk about are the artists and the people who are the fitness instructors and the healers, the ones that, love on our bodies and help us to do all this energy work and yoga and mindfulness and all that we do. Painting with the twist. I don't care what it is. Art and healing work and loving on ourselves. These are the ones that we need to step up right here, right now, because we need that kind of healing, right? With what's going on in the world. We've got the farmers in India saying, we ain't gonna take it no more. I was in awe. I tried to find it this morning, but I saw something come through that said they over in Russia protesting. I'm like, what? In Russia? What else did I see today? Poland is tripping for real. Folks getting ready to get in the streets in Poland. So I'm like, it is time. The shift of the world is happening. It is time. And because it feels a little bit rough. Like, I'm able to take a breather for right now, but I know we're going to have to get out in the streets again here in the United States, but I am able to take a breather right now. And I need the artists. I need the healers. I need, the fitness instructors and the yogis and the mindfulness people. I need all of that. We all need all of that. And so y'all may not be out in the streets. Because I'm actually a part of that crew, we may not be in the streets protesting because we're showing up, bringing some love, right? Bringing healing, bringing people a break from all the bad news, bringing people a break from the stress that of this time of social unrest. Another way I'll describe it is we have in labor, we have stage 1 of labor where the woman is the body is opening the door. We got to get the door open. Door's been shut to keep the little precious gift of the baby in there. So the mama goes into labor, and now the womb is like, we've got to open up. So we feel all the labor movements, all of that. And then the next stage is called transition, which is, hell. If anyone in the comments understand what I'm talking about, if you know transition, oh my goodness, transition to make a woman say, give me some drugs. Transition to just make others just say, forget it, I'm done. But it's a short part, but it's actually, in my experience of labor, the first stage of labor and the second stage of labor don't even come close to matching transition. Transition hurt like all get out. I can still remember what transition felt like. Stage 1 contractions, sisters breathing. I'm like, it hurts a little bit, but I get a little break in between each one. Transition, there was no break. Transition, it was just like, we just got to get to the next stage. Then what was the second stage of labor? Oh my gosh, it was like, I just want to push. It feels sort of good to just push. And then out comes the baby, right? That's where we are right now in transition. We've been through labor. I don't care what anyone says. I don't even know what was 2020. Was that labor? Stage 1? I don't know. But I feel like we were birthed anew. I do. I truly feel we were birthed anew as a world in 2020. Though it was through, maybe 2020 is also part of transition. Is I don't know. 2021 is definitely transition. Okay, because we've got to get over to the new way of being and push out this new world that we have before us. And so, what are your gifts? What are your talents? Why are you here? And if all you can think is, well, I sort of like, so I remember when I was still getting clarity about what I'm to do. I remember I would always say, you know what? I just feel better when I do something nice for other people. Like, sometimes I would smile, I would speak. Once we got on social media, if somebody was having a bad day, I always would go out of my way to say something nice to them. And it just made me feel better. And that began to give me clues that, you know what, at the end of the day, I love sharing inspiration. And so I had to figure out my vehicle for doing that. Initially, maybe I'm sharing quotes. Then I started just sharing videos here on YouTube. And now I have an inner circle, and I've been doing readings for like 20 years, almost total 20 years. And so, it took me a while to figure out the vehicle of inspiration. But even if all you do is just a little bit every day, that is going to help you to show up for the collective and figure out, what am I supposed to do in this collective? Like, okay, am I going to be focused on the food chain, or am I going to be focused on money? Because both of those two, they're going to be major. When I saw the farmers were protesting, I was like, not surprised because of astrology. Okay, let me see what y'all talking about. Okay. I love your makeup today, goddess. Thank you, Amanda. Hello, how are you? Yes, social unrest everywhere in France. Oh, yeah, in Africa, in the US. That's right. Deeza, we need to be bringing healing and knowledge to folks. And, I love that you said it that way, because the more we bring healing and knowledge to people, and yes, I am a dreamer. I was I've always been called a Pollyanna and a dreamer. So, but I've seen it with my own two eyes. The more we bring healing and knowledge, let's just say individual by individual, how much more peaceful do they show up in the world? How much more loving do they show up in the world? How much more compassionate do they show up in the world? And so this is why we do not need to back down from whatever we're called to do, you know, be it healing work, if for people who help to care for people, let's say a CNA or an LPN. I have to say it that way because we do not give enough credit to people who do work that's not deemed as like, the highest level work. But we need to make sure we're all showing up because, baby, let me tell you something. Let the CNAs and the LPNs, the certified nursing assistants and the LPNs not show up for work. You will hear the RNs being like, I'm losing my mind, and we already know who's going to have to take. Oh, everyone would go crazy. Just like when the secretaries of the world, when they're like, you know what, I'm pissed off. I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to do anything because I'm mad, right? We would go crazy if we did not have the secretaries in the world. So I'm just saying we need everybody to show up with whatever they're supposed to do at that particular stage in life because it is needed. And the more we help people to step into being healed and step into the arts, and they feel that love and that softness on the inside, no matter what they do, they will bring amazing energy. They will show up with love. They will show up with compassion. They will show up with amazing energy. And then it just continues to blossom on out. And some people a little hardcore. It might take a little while to, it takes enough of us to kind of touch them before they're going to be feeling the healing and channeling it out. But what if we never show up as the artists and the healers? If we never show up as the activists, or as the doctors and the lawyers and the professors, it doesn't matter. If we don't show up and do what we were called to do, it's almost like a piece of the puzzle. You see the puzzle and it's just that one piece is missing. That's how important you are. That is how important you are, no matter what you have come here to do. If we have that puzzle, 5,000 pieces of puzzle, and one piece is missing, that puzzle will make people like me who have OCD tendencies crazy. Other people will come through and just feel like, I feel like something is just missing because that one piece out of 5,000, you would think one piece doesn't matter. That one piece out of 5,000, it will be noticed. It will be noticed if you don't show up and do what you have been called here to do. And so you can unapologetically do it. Just do it. Yes. All right, let's see here. What else? Keisha Gay. All the artists and dreamers create the conceptual framework for new reality. I need to say that again. All the artists and dreamers, hold on, I could just put this up there. All the artists and dreamers create the conceptual framework for a new reality. How many of you all have heard a song, seen a movie, read a book, read poetry, whatever it is, and you're like, this is mind-blowing. So-and-so wrote about this, sung about this, created a dance, story. I forgot what they're called, but some type of show through dance and singing, maybe like Broadway or something like that talked about this very thing. Only it was this long ago. Like they could not know that it was going to turn out the way that it did. So let's talk Aquarius. That's the season that we're in right now. We have the visionaries that are laying out the framework for which we are to go. If the artist, what else did you say, Keisha? And dreamers do not go on ahead and do their job of laying out this framework, then we don't know where to go. And just because society does not value what you do Does not mean that it is not needed and necessary. Does not mean that it's not of value. It is a value. It is a value. And we need you to keep doing that. I love it. We're showing up with songs we write, pictures we draw, poems we tell, stories we share. We need y'all to keep doing that. For the artists, I'm just putting that out there. So did y'all like the womb metaphor? Once the baby was out, I was wondering how I was still alive. Thank you, Deeza. I appreciate all the love. I really do. I remember when I first got pregnant, the first time, and then I started going through my natural childbirth classes. I was like, oh, I just wanted a baby. I didn't actually think about the baby having to come out. I was terrified initially. But then you have the baby, and all of a sudden, it's like our natural, what do you call it? Programming just kicks in. Deeza, you are right. People need healing and to be in the know. Exactly, Cynthia. Exactly. My mom is a nurse, and she said they are offering all kinds of incentives now. Is that right, Aquarian T? Okay. In our everyday life, a little touch of empathy and kindness goes a long way. That person handling your groceries at the checkout point in your store can use a hang on in there. I actually go out of my way to be so appreciative of, and I always did feel this way. I always have been one who, I'm always like for the underdog. But nothing has made me more proud than what I see since the pandemic hit. And the other day I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, if anybody never realized the importance of people working in grocery stores, I bet they appreciate it now. Maybe it was last week we were talking about it. I appreciate all the people that work in the grocery stores even more now. I'm like, what would we have done? And I mean, in these Western cultures where we have grocery stores, that's where we go. We're not going to the market so much. What would we have done? Oh my goodness, what they have had to deal with. You are so right. Hello, Zellico. How are you? Yes. Wow. Sacred dance by this girl who was blind. Wow. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Everybody needs to show up and do what they're called to do. So understanding our cycles is so very important. And I really wanted us to begin to think about what's going on right now so that our systems are not shot when we see a whole bunch of stuff going down. Now, I do want to, and I'm going to organize this, I do want to begin to get us together to do healing work, to, send healing energy out into the world, to meditate on a peaceful world, maybe this peaceful transition of moving from a Capricorn Earth type way of living in the world to more of an Aquarian air, enlightened energy in the world. And so we want it to happen in the smoothest way possible, maybe easing the path for the activist, easing the path for those who are going to come into the governments and say, hey, we're going to do right by the people, easing the way, easing the way for people who are without right now, easing the way for them to get access to resources, whatever it is, sending healing energy to the earth, which is probably our biggest, crisis that we have going on right now. Sometimes it's so hard to really perceive how horrible, things are with the climate and with the earth right now, because, maybe I'm just every day kind of showing up and everything seems to be okay where I am. But this is probably our biggest threat. And it is incumbent upon all of us, but especially those of us women folk out here, to send this healing energy to our Earth Mother. So I want to make sure that we begin to collectively do that. And I'll make sure I post some of those times when we do that. And honestly, if you are interested in being a part of that, where you present maybe your art, or you have some healing words, or you have a healing modality that you could share maybe within 5 minutes, just go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com, if you don't already have my email address, and let me know. That way I can make sure I include you. It's not just, I don't sit up high on a throne and look down low, but one of my coaches said, I'm trying to make it so that you create your own platform. You don't need nobody else's platform. And so I'm making it so that I can bring other people on, because I don't do it all. I don't try to do it all. I want to bring on the artists. I want to bring on the dreamers, the healers, the people who do breath work and energy work, and, can share something to help all of us collectively come together and channel energy to Mama Earth. So let me know. Just go to my website if you don't already have my email, and let me know if you're interested in that. But we talked about the greater pattern. And so I want to just share something with you all really quickly that you can get if you're my inner circle is already in the portal. But I want to share this with you all. Let me take it down just a notch. If you were in the if you were able to attend the healing circles, then this is something I shared there. Maybe you got it there. But for me, it is so important that everybody understand how to create the structure. Let's go back to Saturn. Saturn is a planet that we talked about that's all about structure. And even in the chaos, we can still have structure. Because it's like, once we have that foundation, that's another thing to think about. Having a foundation. Our foundation has been shaken, weakened, because we need to set up a new foundation on the collective level, as well as, and let me see if I can, oh, that's why I have my phone. Okay, good. On the collective level, as well as our personal level. So we've talked about the collective level. This is more about on the personal level. And something I plan on doing in the inner circle, and I'll bring some of it out of the inner circle, is to really talk about understanding the cycle that you're in, so that you can create the right ritual or spiritual practice life. Let me say spiritual practice more than rituals. Spiritual practices can involve rituals, but you want to craft a spiritual practice that is for the stage where you are right now. You want to create spiritual practices that are for where you're headed. So you have a goal, and the question is, who do I have to become in order to achieve that goal? And once we step into that identity, then it will be effortless, right? And so what we want to do is to create a way of living that helps us to be able to support our mission, which is either present or where we're headed. Okay. And so this is why I created the guide to setting up your goddess-centered spiritual practice. Now, part of this is about it being unique to you. It's so important that you have practices that make your soul sing, that make you want to get up and do them. It really is okay to enjoy your spiritual practice. Honestly, we don't want our spiritual practice to be drudgery. And so part of that is making it unique, going into Aquarius, unique to you. Now, we can pull from different traditions whatever we need to. It's okay if, let's say, you are like, well, okay, I like the way the Buddhists chant, so I'm going to go over here with the Buddhists, go to the Buddhist temple and chant with the Buddhists. That's fine. And maybe you're Buddhist, maybe you're not, and for some of us, we may say, well, I just really want to work with the Orisha. So I'm going to go outside, or I'm going to, maybe work with someone who works closely with the Orisha so that I can begin to work with the Orisha. Don't necessarily have to initiate, or you can, let's say you are initiated into, some tradition, but you pop out and go pull in other pieces from other places. That is how I perceive the goddess centered spiritual practice. It is unique unto you. It makes your soul sing. It doesn't feel like drudgery, though that doesn't mean every day you'll wake up like, oh yeah, I'm just so excited to do my spiritual practices. I'm not like that. It's sort of like exercise. I just say to myself, you know what? I remember actually there was a lady who used to come to my bar classes, and she would always say at the end of class, you know what, Tyra, I didn't want to come. I actually was thinking about skipping, and then I remembered how good I always feel at the end, and I've never regretted coming to a class. That's how I feel about my spiritual practices. I've never one time been like, I just really regret doing my spiritual practices. That did nothing for me, right? So, that doesn't mean that we're just so in love, but we can remind ourselves, actually, I feel better when I do them. And you know why they'll feel good? It's because they are unique unto you. Now, another piece of this is about understanding the cycles. Okay, understanding, and that's one of the reasons I have on here this spiral, because we're wanting to understand what cycle are we in, and then we begin to set up the spiritual practices that are about that particular cycle. Now, what I would love to hear from you is anything that you're already doing. Oh, by the way, if you want this, you can go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com. And yeah, it's there. You can request to get it. But anywho, there's four major sections or categories of spiritual work that you can do use as a guide for you each day. And so this first one is before your feet hit the floor, before you get out the bed, before you get your day going, what are you doing to connect with your spirit? And remember, your spirit is who? You. So before your feet hit the floor, what are you doing? So for instance, and it all depends on what is your focus. So let's say someone is focused on building a business. Part of what we may do when we wake up in the morning, I always have something that's about me connecting to spirit. It's like I connect to my Ori, is what I call it. Higher self is like a general term that we could use that most people understand. So I connect with my Ori. I connect with Yemoja because I'm initiated into her energy. I connect with the energy of the goddess because I'm initiated into a goddess tradition. And I connect with the energy of my ancestors. I greet all of them. I also give myself, I have affirmations that I say to myself when upon awakening. And one of the greatest ones for me is believing that the world is safe. I need that affirmation because I've not always felt that way. So believing that the world is safe. So I have some affirmations that are about belief in the world is safe and everything is working in my favor. And so let's say I'm working on a business. I may affirm, like this is for me. I know I'm guided and directed to do this. And I'm excited about, how I'm going to show up for my business today, whatever. Or maybe I'm just like, you know what, ancestors, I don't even know what to do today. So I'm just asking y'all to help me get clarity about what I need to do today. So I'm setting this intention of connecting with my ancestors so that they can, lead, guide, and direct me. Don't know if I said I connect with my ancestors, but they are on that list too. I always connect with my ancestors. I'm all about the ancestors. I love the ancestors. So, but I put here just some suggestions that you could use before your feet hit the floor. Now I'm going to try to see if I can pull up my screens to see if y'all have made comments. Okay. So maybe y'all can't see it too well, but let me know if you can. What do you do before your feet hit the floor? All right, let me blow it up just a little bit more. Next is the morning practice, which is about setting aside that time. And I say, even if it means that you have to get up earlier than you're used to, and for some of us, we're early birds. We don't mind getting up early. For some people, it's like, you know what? I need to sleep a little bit into my day, no matter which way it goes. If you have to get up earlier to get this in, then that's what I say. It's that important. It's that important. Setting aside this time. And, it takes us training our body to get used to waking up early, just dragging ourselves out the bed. Sometimes my eyes are still a little bit closed or whatever. But I put some things here, and y'all can let me know, what does your morning practice look like? And this morning practice helps to set the tone for the day. And it's also related to what is it that you are working on right now? Because this morning practice supports your destiny. This morning practice supports whatever intentions you set for that month, that week, that year. This morning practice, you want to set it up to support all of that. And that's why, again, this spiral, it's about you will, shift and change as you need to. You will add to and subtract from this practice whatever needs to be added to and subtracted based on what you're working on. Let me see if y'all made any comments. Oh, you love getting up early. That's awesome, Renee. Awesome. Yeah, I'm an early bird. I am an early bird for sure. And then throughout the day. Now, one of the things that I have become very clear on since becoming a perimenopausal woman is how sensitive we are energetically. And we may not always know it. I just feel like we have so much more resilience up until we're about 45. Once we hit 45, some of the things that we used to get away with, maybe that we didn't do a good job of taking care of ourselves, or we were just carrying too much burden, too much for other people. We can't get away with it. And that's one of the signatures of perimenopause is you just feel like you don't have the energy. Your energy is just up and down. And it's, all these changes that are going through our bodies. And maybe it's not 45 because some people start going through perimenopause a little bit later, but it's something that I became highly aware of. And so I would notice throughout the day, let me know if you can relate to this. You just feel deflated, like at 2:00, or it's like I started my day off so well. How did things just go so wrong? How am I so off the beaten path of, the plan that I laid out for myself today? So having rituals that you can go to throughout the day are so important. And it's all about energy work, as I see it. It's all about, what can I do? Maybe I'm going to breathe. That's one of the most simple, it doesn't cost anything, ways for us to, reset our energy. Working with our meridians, tapping. Maybe you love to say prayers. Maybe you turn on some type of, energy music, or it's just some song that really inspires you. Maybe you pick up a book and read it. It just really inspires you. And so it's like, let me just pick up this book, because whenever I read this book, I just feel better about myself. That's what matters. Do you feel better about yourself? Do you feel better within yourself? And we want to make sure we have rituals throughout the day to do that. And then there needs to be an evening practice. And so what we're wanting to do is, I remember a friend of mine, she used to say, I take the energy of my day off every day. Every day when I come home at night, I take the energy of my day off. And one of the ways she did that was when she got home from work, she would change her clothes. I was like, that is freaking ingenious. She take her energy off. And so that's what we want to do. We want to take the energy of that day off, just like we take off our clothes. We want to take it off, and we want to shoot it back out to the universe so that it can transmute this energy into something positive. We just don't want to keep we really want to release it all as much as we can. Now, one of the ways we can hold on to the good parts of it is through having a gratitude practice. I think that's really important. But yeah, making sure that we do something to, I always say it is, we want to be unto our own energy. We want our energy unto ourselves. We don't want our energy leaking out. And even if we give ourselves 30 minutes, because some people, they got little kids or it's a lot going on at home, right? Caregiving, all that. Maybe you can just have 10, 15 minutes where you just feel like your energy is unto you because you already know somebody's going to need you in the middle of the night or whatever it is. Okay. So we just want to take that time though, where we can just say, I'm only going to let my energy be about me. And so I want you to try something with me right now. All of y'all have probably seen me do this. Is I want you to imagine, if you would close your eyes, inhale and exhale. And I want you to imagine that there's this golden white column of light that just comes down over your body and it's cutting all the cords that you have set up out into the world through the news, through social media, through interactions with other people. See this column of light just coming down over your body, over your aura, and cutting all of the cords that have been attached to you all week long. Let's just do it for the whole week. Cut all of these cords. Cut all of the cords from people who have set up cords from them to you. You may not even know these cords are there, but you want to just cut all of these cords and see yourself enveloped in a bubble of golden white light. And add to this bubble whatever your special color is. What color do you need to be covering and surrounding you right now? See that color there. If you want, I offer blue and pink light. I feel like for me, those are just beautiful colors that feel so loving and so kind and so giving in my bubble of light. But whatever it is for you, feel that energy just surrounding you. Feel your energy, your glorious, beautiful, lush, magnificent energy just unto you. Just for like another 30 seconds. Let's take a deep breath in, inhale and exhale. Feel that energy unto you, your own gorgeous, beautiful, vibrant energy just unto you. It's just yours. Your energy is feeding itself. Feel the energy of the great mother surrounding you. The energy of the goddess of the world, creatrix of us all. Feel yourself enveloped in her womb while you sit in your own energy. Feel your energy as her energy, nurturing you, loving you, tanking you up, letting you know that you're okay, letting you know that you are valuable, that you are worthy, that what you have come here to do is valued, is necessary, is needed, is beautiful, even if it's only for the sake of. Feel this energy affirm your position in this world, your right to be here, your right to claim your piece of all manifest reality, whatever that looks like. Feel the energy of the mother matching yours, being at one with this energy of the goddess, proclaiming to the world as well as to yourself that you are valuable, you are worthy, you are loved, you are beautiful, you are gifted, you are talented, you are needed, you are lovable, that you will manifest your reality, that you will manifest your destiny, that abundance and prosperity is not yours to have, but is you now. And that you will open your hands to receive all the abundance of whatever it is that you desire in your life. Prosperity in all ways, health, finances, career, happiness, family, relationships, prosperity in all areas. Feel yourself receiving it all, knowing that you deserve it. And so these are the kinds of things that we can do at the end of the day, bring our energy back to ourselves. Because when we take that into our sleep, it helps us to get renewed just that much more, regenerated just that much more, and ready for the next day to come. And so we start the cycle again. Okay, let's see here. Before my feet hit the floor, I reach out to my ancestors while my spirit is still between the two states. Exactly. I greet them and ask them for support. I am of the position, my position is that the ancestors are um, our guardian angels. They are here to help us. So yeah, definitely. Yes, taking naps at 3. That is something, I mean, sleep is not to be, don't discredit sleep. Sleep is healing. As a matter of fact, I remember reading in the Metuneta by Ra'un Nefer Amen. He said some of the biggest problems that people are experience come from lack of sleep. I was like, what? All us Pisces in the house, we need our sleep. Pisces, we're going to get our sleep one way or the other. But honestly, yeah, menopause made me say, okay, this is a force to be reckoned with right here. I better get my rest. I better check my energy, and I have to do it day in and day out. Waking up early unexpectedly at 3 a.m. 43, nearly 44. Yes, sister. These are, yes, 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 yes. So, woo, okay. Now, let me move on. I feel like I'm just rambling on and on and on. It's already 6:31. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm actually taking us through the tree of life as I learned it from the Metuneta. I've already talked about Amen, and I've talked about Orser. I'm going to have to find those videos and put them together as a collection and then add this one to it. So Tahuti on the tree of life, it has to do with wisdom. And so foundationally, the way I would describe this is not all of us, but I remember hearing about the omniscience, the omnipotence, and the omnipresence of the great divine. And so Tahuti, this energy represents the omniscience, and it's understanding that there is a wisdom that is at play. And this is actually at the higher level of the tree of life, actually. But let's relate it to something that we all understand. And this is, we have within us an infinite intelligence that runs our bodies. And if the infinite intelligence can run our body, it can heal our body when our body is out of balance. It can show us what we need to do to bring our bodies into balance. It can even keep us out of balance. It can keep us alive and still functioning. If it can do all of that, what would happen if we moved it from the background to the foreground of our lives and allowed it to lead, guide, and direct us? See, a lot of us, because of lack of proper teaching, and we just don't live in a society that really promotes this, a lot of us, we always are in our rational minds, thinking, coming up with the plan, which I respect the mind and rational thinking and logical thinking. I can be that way highly. It's like I need some structure. So I'm not bashing it, but part of what we've come here to learn is how to transcend always living according to this rational, logical way of thinking. And a lot of times it's connected to our ego construct. What is our ego construct? It is our identity, our persona, all of it as we build it brick by brick by brick. Our parents help to contribute to, what do I think about myself? What, who am I? What am I? Think about how we are with our babies. We're calling them names, and, until recently, I'm not quite sure how it's going to evolve. It was always, you will be assigned a gender. And which there are genders, don't get me wrong, but, as if it's hard and fast in terms of like how we perceive ourselves. And, you're from this culture, this experience in the world, so on and so forth, right? It's an infinite number of ways that babies get told, this is who you are. This is how we do it. Then we go to school, and then we see the society. Oh my gosh. And then this construct gets built, and this is what we're living out, right? And this ego construct is constantly trying to keep us safe. And it has a way of operating. A lot of times it's through logic. And part of what we have come here to do is to transcend that, so that we can operate from the infinite wisdom within ourselves. And I have already given y'all the proof. Do you believe me? That there's an infinite intelligence in your body, that you don't have to do anything to make your body, operate. Let's think about the babies that are born. I'm like, how does that really happen? Like, wow, that's some infinite intelligence. We're not taking the little sperm and egg and putting them together. No, we're not. Some kind of way. And how I love it when people talk about this creation of life. This thing is truly a miracle, right? And then the baby developing in the womb, infinite wisdom of the universe that is creating babies in wombs that get born and breastfeed with the mom. I guess I'm on the labor and delivery and baby raising theme tonight. I used to be a childbirth educator. Fun fact, natural childbirth education, Bradley childbirth education. I used to teach that, the Bradley method. But anywho, if that can do all of that, or let's look at, going back to the cycles, let's look at nature. We got the trees doing what they're doing. We got Mother Earth going through all these, what we call it, the seasons. Let's talk about the sun, okay? We just had this gorgeous full moon in Leo. I don't know what it was like for you. We do give thanks. Oh my gosh. Yesterday I got news that Singing Sandra, Queen Mother Singing Sandra out of Trinidad, died. And Cicely Tyson died. I'm like, wow. Last year at this full moon, my godfather died. I was like, whoa, this moon ain't no joke. When it comes to taking out royalty, royalty is exiting at this moon. I'm like, wow. Anywho, that full moon though, yesterday was magical for me. But think about Leo, the sun. The sun rises and it sets. That is not us taking it and putting it up in the sky. No. It's an infinite intelligence, an infinite wisdom that is at play. Why can't we use this in our own lives? Talk to me, fam. Why can't we use this in our own lives? We can. And that is foundational to understanding that part of the spiritual practice, part of what we come here to do is to step into operating according to this wisdom. And one of the things that I say is, I ask you to ask this infinite wisdom, which I call Ori, which is from the Ifa tradition, the Nigerian tradition, out of the Yoruba tradition. I ask my Ori, please move from the background to the foreground of my life, lead, guide, and direct my every footstep, Ori. I cast myself into your care. And I do all I can. A lot of what we do in this spiritual work is to begin to quell this egoic part of ourselves, this construct, deconstruct it actually. And I'm not saying throw all of it away. I'm just saying we might need to deconstruct some of it. Some of it don't need to be there, okay? Because It's a lie from the pit. All right. It's just a lie. If we deconstruct anything, it needs to be the lies. Okay. So what we're wanting to do is to quell it so that this infinite power, or the infinite wisdom, because next week we'll talk about the power, the infinite wisdom can come through and it'll be a lamp unto our feet, a guiding light before us. That's why I said, may the oracles be your guiding light. This is the gift of divination. This is the gift of understanding the oracles in your life so that you know this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Maybe I don't need to be doing that over there right now. So, hello, how are you? Hello, how are you, Mary? Welcome. The awful thing is when people who are telling you you are lying. School's telling all my kids, my generation of African and Indian descent, Empress Josephine was not from Martinique, because I don't want to say that right. Martinican. Oh, Martinican. Okay. Like you. Not. Yes. And that's why, to a certain degree, it's important for us to all make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do. Because somebody needs to be teaching the truth. Somebody needs to be teaching the truth. Because, and then the other thing is, we definitely need to make sure that we are doing what the ancients did, which is to make sure we line somebody up to be learning from us so that they can keep saying it. Because I'm telling you, a snowball will happen. There will be a snowball effect with that. So transcend indoctrinations and heal exactly all the lies in the way of us having a healthy ego construct. And again, Deeza, I will say, what you just made me think about is this. That part of the reason that we do the spiritual practice is so that we can have that healthy ego construct. Exactly. Because the ego is a part of, having this physical experience. Like, it's a blessing to be here. I have trained myself, no matter what I see in the news, if I decide to look at the news, I'm not going to say it's all going to hell in a handbasket. This place is horrible. I use Microsoft, PC, and they will put on your screen these pictures from around the world. I always choose nature pictures, and I see pictures from around the world, and I'm like, the world is amazing. Or I'll allow myself to think of like the time I saw the Grand Canyon, or the time I went to Dominican Republic and was on the ocean in this little bitty boat at one point there. But I was in the jungle. I was like, this is freaking, it was like paradise, right? Or the time I went to England and I saw trees bigger than I've ever, ever, ever seen them. I've never seen trees so huge and old. It was mind blowing to me to see these trees over in England. So the world is beautiful. It's a blessing to be here. And so, we can begin to massage our ego and just let it know, you know what? You're not here to lead my life. I'm here to express myself through you. And so we're going to have to and I've talked to my ego like this. Not today. You're not in charge today, ego. I'm in charge, along with, my higher self, my spirit, my Ori, the goddess within me. That's who's leading, guiding, and directing me, not you. And my ego is like, I thought I was doing a good job, but since you're gonna act that way, just tell me what to do. Your ego, it'll chill out a little bit, but it takes a lot of work, in my opinion. It's so easy to default back there. I ask my Ori to lead and guide me every step and to bring me into the forefront. Ashe, Maya. Love this. On point. We always struggle with consistency and allowing. I agree, Keisha. Consistency. Oh my gosh. That is really, it is like not sexy. It is so not sexy, but oh my gosh, it brings sexy results. Like to feel good. I think one for me, and y'all can let me know what you think about this, but for me, one of my highest values is to feel good. If when I feel good on the inside, and not necessarily because anything is happening, it's like I'm just happy to be this chick right here. Like I'm goofy or I'm a little bit of a weirdo. No, I'm a lot of a weirdo, and I'm good with that. Or um, sometimes I sit in here, and this is one of the gifts of the pandemic for me. I'm just here, and I'll sit and I'll just giggle at whatever. It's like I feel like I'm my 8-year-old girl self again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just so fun. It's like I just feel good to be me. I just feel like so much good comes from that when people can just feel good. And that's what consistency will do for us. Being consistent in whatever is going to get us to being centered within ourselves. And then the allowing piece, that's another one that I just think people don't really focus on that enough. I always say people will say, I want fill in a blank. But they're holding their hands like this, right? Instead of like this. And I see this as a mudra. This is one of my favorite mudras. I don't even know if it's a mudra from ancient times. I just made this up as my own mudra, where I just say, I'm going to sit here with my hands like this. Because I always feel like if I can get my palms, and I don't know why I think this, but it's just intuitive. If I can just get my palms to feel relaxed, that opens me up more to receive that which I desire. And also to have, it's something I've learned from one of my workouts, having relaxed fingers, just palms open, fingers relaxed. Bringing in this energy of receptivity and allowing is so important. It cannot be overstated. Yeah, England, I was impressed with England. I'm not going to lie. I was like, but I only went there in the summertime. I have not been there when it's cold, but I did like it. A tribal leader once said, your thoughts are your prayers. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful, Renee. Your thoughts are your prayers. Ashe, that's all I can say. Bound down to the wisdom of the tribal leader. I agree. So I'm so happy that you are feeling healed and centered, Maya. So happy. So that's something that we can begin. And another thing is developing the trust with the infinite wisdom, the infinite potential, the infinite wisdom of the universe. Yes, there was another word I wanted to use, but opening ourselves up to this infinite wisdom. Well, then, what was I going to say? But yeah, it's so important for us to open ourselves up. Oh, yes, to the infinite wisdom of the universe in a way where we trust it. Because then what will happen is when we see the next step, it will show us the next step to take. It will be a lamp unto our feet. That's how I say it. I think about, the quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just the next step. And I always imagining the step will light up, before me. And then I take that step and then the next step lights up. Developing a relationship with this infinite wisdom will, it becomes the leading, guiding, and directing force. I used to have this thing up by Michael Beckwith, and he talked about when we're taught how to think properly, essentially, I'm just summarizing, it's something he said at the end of The Secret. When we are taught how to think properly, and we are in a relationship with this infinite wisdom, which actually is not out there, my sisters, and if any brothers are watching, it's not out there. This infinite wisdom is within us. When we begin to be led, because remember, we talked about it being in our body, okay? So this is the proof I'm offering to you. When we follow this infinite wisdom, or when we're in a trusting relationship with it, then it will lead you, it will guide you, it will feed you, clothe you, sustain your very existence. And guess what else he said, Keisha? If you'll allow it. And a lot of us are not allowing it. We're trying to figure out all the figure out the solutions to all of our problems. We are thinking. And, the more I'm looking at the patterns that we're in, I'm like, where are the mindfulness teachers out there? Where are the people that are teaching meditation? Because we are going to have to find ways to slow our minds down. We're in a high air time where it's so much up here. We're going to have to begin to go out of our way to get our minds quiet. There's a book that I'm reading, and essentially what the author is saying, and this is all based on Yoga Sutras, that we have the mind and our consciousness merged as one. And they don't even realize, it's not even like it realizes that this has happened. And the impressions of the mind, going back to thoughts or prayers, the impressions of the mind are what our consciousness, our ori is another word, our ori wraps itself around, and this is what gets projected into our experience. And so it's all about softening down the impressions, the mental activities of the mind, so that we can begin to get the mind separated from our consciousness. And so once we get our consciousness cleared and free from just being all entangled with the mind, and the way we do this is we do things that slow our minds down. We unplug, we cut our cords, we meditate, we take that time to listen to chanting, or we chant ourselves, whatever we can do to begin to slow down the mind and to remove as many impressions. Memories is another one that we're dealing with. We're dealing with so many memories. Inside Out is a movie. I'm going to watch Soul. I think it was Deeza who told me to do that. But, we have all these memories, and these memories are running the show because our mind is perceiving them, right? And so what we're wanting to do is get that mind quieted down, get our consciousness over here where it's like, okay, I'm aware of, this higher level self of me, this higher, it's a part of ourselves that is not subject to the ego constructs that we're all experiencing. But we're wanting to transcend all of that and step outside of it so that we can begin to be a clear channel for whatever the universe is sharing with us, the infinite wisdom of the universe. This is part of why the spiritual practice is so important. And so being in that trusting relationship, it cannot be overstated. And I'm so happy to hear that synchronicity. It's a blessing to have you here, Maya. It's a blessing to have you here. So yes, that is foundational to spirituality, understanding that we really want to get ourselves softened down, yin down, baby. We need to bring in this yin energy, get it softened down, get it slowed down, get it nice and quiet and rested, like we talked about with the sleep. Even if it's not sleep, rest it so that we can begin to, get clarity and become one with understanding what this wisdom is. And a lot of times, the beautiful thing is that the wisdom shows you step by step by step what it is that you need to do. Something random will just happen. And, I'll give y'all such a good example. This is not about the spiritual practice, but we've been talking babies tonight. Let's keep going. So I remember my younger son, I was very crunchy, as a mom with little kids, so crunchy, earthy and all that. And so um, I had heard about people doing EC, elimination communication. Another term is called infant potty training. And initially I was like, infant potty training, what? Whatever, I ain't that crunchy. These people doing the most over here. So enter my second born son. And I was using my crunchy cloth diapers. I ordered the best ones, right? I did my research, ordered the best ones. Well, this little baby could not stand detergent. Now, you got to get those diapers. You got to stay on top of keeping these diapers clean because they'll stink if you don't. He was allergic to all detergent. He was so allergic. I mean, it was horrible the way his skin looked. So I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta abandon that and put him in some disposables until I can figure out what to do. What is this elimination communication? What is this? And actually, now that I tell the story, I didn't know about it before that. I remember I was just online and all of a sudden I see something about elimination communication. I was feeling so defeated. And I'm like, I want to help Mother Earth, right? I see something about elimination communication, infant potty training, and I clicked on it, and he was 5 months old. And if anyone out there has done elimination communication, which I like calling it better than that because it's so much more intuitive. The infant potty training is intuitive and gentle and not, abusive or whatever. But elimination communication, I like calling it that, EC. They have until about the time they're 6 months old, you can take them to the potty. You can train them to not go in their diaper, but to go into the toilet, hold them over the bathtub as little babies. So, just clean out the bathtub after they use the potty. And so one day I decided to give it a try. And because my husband was like, no, this ain't going to work. I was like, I just got to try something. And I just did what they said do. They said, babies don't pee while they're asleep. When they wake up, take them into the bathroom, hold them. They showed us how to hold the baby over the bathtub and the baby will do it. And the first time, that's what happened. I was like, yes, I didn't even know this existed. Wow. Okay. So, it's like the universe it will just create that solution, but we have to be receptive. We've got to get our mind clear. And sometimes it's step by step by step. Some of us not even ready to see the whole big picture of every step we have to take to get there because we won't do it, right? It's step by step by step. And when we listen, when we follow step by step by step, first and foremost, it creates that confidence in this wisdom. And secondly, it makes us keep going. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm just one step closer. That gives us that motivation, that inspiration to never give up on that, which we know we have come here to share with the world. Wonderful. Sekhmet. Oh my gosh, nice. Yes. My goddaughter was potty trained at 6 months, allergies. I'm telling y'all that this little infant potty training, or EC, elimination communication, I love it. Last little bit, fam, is we do have Mercury retrograde coming up. And so what I'm telling everybody is, like, right now we're in what's called the storm period. And so that means that Mercury is very, very slow. Now, I think I told my inner circle, we have up until about February the 4th. So around February the 4th, Mercury will start speeding up a little bit again in retrograde. So I think this is a good retrograde for us. There's not a whole lot in astrology, we talk about aspects, and aspects create meetings, which create energy of some sort. It's one or two that are a little bit challenging, but Mercury isn't experiencing a lot of negative challenges. It's doing the most, but it's not going to be to me super traumatic or anything like that, you know. Of course, what is always required, going back to talking about cycles, is we really want to make sure that we are honoring the mandate of that particular transit. So I'm saying we do need to have a Mercury retrograde protocols going on all of Mercury retrograde, even during the shadow periods and the storm periods, especially during the storm periods. But I think this is going to be a pretty nice retrograde. Well, one that we appreciate. I think this will be an appreciated retrograde. Right now, if I'm correct, all the planets are moving forward. And so that you know, we needed that. Like, things have not been forward moving. Like last year this time, it was like being in some type of high-speed tunnel. It was like, woo, so fast. And then, you know, everything in the astrology was just like moving through mud. It was water and earth, right? But I just feel like last year was so much energy, so much to deal with. 2021, January has been like, you know, 2020 continued. We just need a break. We need a break. So I think it's so important for us to use this Mercury retrograde to say, let me just give myself moments, even if you can't just like full on take a break, but find moments every day where you stop and you're doing an assessment. You're looking back like, okay, you know, maybe you know what area of life is your focus right now. So for instance, anyone who is, I'm going to get like 24, 36, 48, you're in a first house year. What's the next one? 60. You're in a first house year, which means you need to be working on your body and you need to be looking at overhauling your life. Like, you're getting a fresh new start. What kind of new start do you want, right? So maybe during Mercury retrograde, you could be looking at, you know, what is, am I on track? Like, is there something I missed that I really need to go back and study again or revisit for some reason, because it's going to help me on my path? A lot of times astrologers do this for signs. And so if you know what your sign is, then you know what you're working on. So for instance, it's Aquarius. And if you know what house Aquarius is for you, then you'll know maybe I need to be doing some Mercury retrograde for this particular part of my, you know, my chart. So for instance, if you are, let's say, Scorpio, Aquarius is your fourth house. It has to do with home, family. It has to do with emotions and ancestors. So it may be something in one of those areas that you're going to work on. No matter what cycle you're in, no matter what the focus is for you, I encourage you to use Mercury retrograde as a time where you choose to slow down a little bit and allow yourself to revisit something, to assess, to look at the game plan and see, like, is this working for me? Even maybe give yourself some mental health breaks. You know, every day, take a mental health break and do something for your mind. Because see, Mercury is retrograde, and I can't remember if it's visible or not. I put it in my inner circle monthly reading. I can't remember if it's visible or not. It's not visible, actually. It's not, because it's going to be visible from February the 20th to March 11th. I know that because March 11th is my birthday. And I was like, I need to be visible on my birthday, Mercury. But anywho, well, maybe a little part of March 11th, it'll be visible. Anywho, it's going retrograde and it's invisible, which means it's very close to the sun, and it's trying to rebirth itself. It's tired. Mercury's tired right now, y'all. Okay. And so I think that that's a sign for us to give ourselves a mental health break. And I encourage you to write down, how are you going to give yourself a mental health break every day, right? So it's multiple ways that we can approach this, but we always use our Mercury retrograde protocols. We're very patient. I'm tapping my lovely computer and screen. So patient with our technology. If we have to be somewhere at a certain time, we are making sure we give ourselves plenty of time to get there. We are checking and double checking any written communications that we send out to the world. We're watching what words are we sharing with people, because yeah, Mercury can create some miscommunication. We are taking care of our cars or methods of transportation, right? We're doing all of that. Azizi's here. Let's see here. Babies are amazing. Misinformation is here to feed consumerism. So many things babies need don't have to be bought. Oh my gosh, I've said that so many times, Diza. I always tell people one of the best things that people told me about was when the baby's newborn, having those little nightgowns with the hole at the end. They were like, do not get the little, onesies, not for the newborn, not for the newborn. I was like, wow, this is so amazing. We did not need much at all. At all. Azizi's in the house. Azizi says she is ready for Mercury retrograde. I heard that. Let's see here. What would it mean if I turned 23 in 2021? It feels like a very Oshun year for me thus far. So let's talk about that. Y'all tell me, how would y'all look at that? Because everybody has their ways of breaking down numbers and interpreting them. So I think what you have is perfect, Maya. 23 is equals to 5. 2021 equals to 5. And 5 is a number that's related to Oshun. So, yes, you could absolutely look at it that way. But what does that mean? Oshun year. This is an Oshun year for you. What part of Oshun are you going to work with or express? Or what part of her wisdom are you going to raise up as like the guiding wisdom for your life? That's what I do, that year after year after year. I always do a reading for myself. It's for the year. I have it on my wall so I can look at it every day and remind myself, this is what you're here to do. So one of the readings that I got for this year it has to do with Aset, Yemanja. So I keep reminding myself, you better take care of yourself. You better take care of yourself. The energy of Yemanja, Aset, is like, we're watching you. Also, work on your emotions. That's something that's coming up for me. Okay, so let me tell y'all another way. I'm going to put Maya's breakdown here. 23 in astrology is actually a year of endings. It is a year of going within and preparing yourself to be birthed anew at 24. A lot of times we will see people at 23, it's rough. It's not the most fun year. Another year that's not fun is 47. So many of my friends who are younger than me watched me look like I was coming undone when I was 47. 47 was rough. It was rough. It was rough. I was new to astrology, so I didn't know all of this yet. Or maybe I would not have been so resistant to it. And so 47 was a year that I just felt like I was coming undone. It was like the worst, it was one of the worst feeling years of my life. And it was a lot of it was just so internal. Because see, it's what is called a 12th house year. 23 is a 12th house year. 11. How many of y'all have felt like when your child was 11, I don't like my child right now. My child is driving me crazy. When my kids were 11, I was like, they're really trying to send me back to ancestor world. I'm so stressed. And then when they turned 12, it was like a switch happened. That's because 12, 24, 36, 48. These are years of new beginnings, a fresh start. So 23 may not feel like the most fun year, but if you do that internal work, wow, it will It will set you up so that you go into 24 as a fresh start. Now, I do agree with the 2021 being a 5-year, which is about adventure. It is also about freedom and being something new. So that's a theme that you could incorporate. And then we've talked about Oshun. How do we incorporate the wisdom of Oshun? Oshun is saying be creative. Oshun is talking about, I feel, self-worth and self-value. Oshun is saying get your money together. Maybe not you, Maya, but somebody. I might would say, oh, okay, maybe that's the one part of Oshun I need to work on this year, you know? So that's how I break down numbers and think about, wisdom. But at the end of the day, it's sort of like whatever works for you. 11 was the worst year ever with my youngest. 11 was hard. 11 was hard for both my boys. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so yes, Maya, it's a year of restoration and balance. Exactly. I forgot to put my little thing on here. So let's see here. Yes, so let's use Mercury retrograde to reset ourselves. Yeah, February astrologically is so much better. I think I probably came close to crying when I did the reading for the inner circle, because I was like, I am so relieved that February is better. But it's a month. I'm telling y'all right here, right now, I'm saying it today. What is this? January 29th, Oprah's birthday. Hey, y'all, come on. Please use February to love on yourself. Once we get closer to the end of February, it'll be better. But Mercury is going to be invisible. Venus is going to be invisible starting on February the 4th. I'm like, why? Why Venus? No. All of us out here who are ruled by Venus, Taurus, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, y'all get ready. Get ready. Our planet is going invisible. But why does the planet go invisible? The planet goes invisible because it too needs to reset itself. So if the planet needs to reset itself, we need to be realizing, okay, maybe I need to do that. That's part of what nature does. It resets itself. I think February is really, I'm so serious. Jupiter is invisible right now. Saturn is invisible right now. We're going to be in a high level of invisibility, which means that those planets that we depend on for certain things, their energy is not fully accessible unless we go inward. So I really encourage you all to use this Mercury retrograde time as a time of going inward, softening down a little bit. We know that spring will be here in March. We know this. We can give thanks for the consistency, the devotion of the planets and nature and Mother Earth. They are devoted, okay? We give thanks for all of that. We know spring is coming. And so we can begin to gear ourselves up to start moving forward then. So let me just tell y'all right now, until the end of February, if you are a Pisces or Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, you may not feel like you have a lot of energy right now. So don't beat yourself up. That's really the reason I'm telling you this. Don't beat yourself up for that. Okay? Your planet is invisible right now. If you are Capricorn or Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, your planet is invisible, Saturn. Don't beat yourself up for that. If you don't feel like you have a lot of high energy right now, pace yourself, or just straight up go ahead and take a break as much as you can. Because I know all of us are working. I know this. All of us are working in some capacity. Once Mercury goes retrograde, Virgo and Gemini, first of all, well, Mercury stays invisible quite a bit, but it's invisible and retrograde starting on tomorrow. So the Geminis and the Virgos, if you don't feel like you have a lot of energy, don't beat yourself up. This just may not be a high time of energy. right now. This might just be a time where we're just feeling like, you know what, this is all I can do today. This is all I can do. And we've got to grant ourselves that grace. We've got to be compassionate with ourselves. Okay? And so once February the 4th hits, Venus will be invisible. I can't remember until when. It might be until like April. So Taurus and Libra, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Once February 4th hits, there will be 4 invisible planets. And so I just said, you know what? Okay, I just accept. Slow and steady. This is why I'm saying for 2021, baby step your way. Baby step your way to December 31st, 2021. Okay? That's the best thing we can do. And baby step your way through February. And I think it's just really a good time to step into self-care and self-love. I saw somebody provide some journal prompts about self-love. And I was like, this cannot be a coincidence that she's sharing this. And it's almost February. I was like, I'm gonna use that. February, we're proclaiming the month of self-love. All right. We just take that time to just be like, oh my God, I just love myself. I'm such a beautiful goddess. I'm just so wonderful. I'm just so perfect. I'm the queen. Whatever it is you want to say about yourself. This is what we need to do. Fall in love with yourself in February. The time is right for that. Trust me. Lots of inner work to do. Energy won't be super high. I hope and pray. Now don't sleep, family. Let me not delude you, because the beginning of this discussion was me talking about Saturn and Uranus clashing all year. And we will have that exact the 3rd week in February. Okay. That's why it's like, I just so wish I could just say February is going to be wonderful. Like, it has some wonderful energy. Actually, if I remember correct, the last week of February is like our time. Okay. It's our time. But that doesn't mean that we always have to remember, just like I said in 2020, there's something playing in the background. Okay. We need to make sure we honor that also. And not get thrown off. A lot of it is going to be seen out in the world, but we'll see it in our lives too. It's at play in our personal chart. We don't want to get thrown off by it. If something comes up, okay, I knew it was going to be something, could potentially be something, maybe not definitive, but potentially. But we still can use February to just be like, oh, I love me. Oh my gosh, I love me. Proclaim February, the month of the goddess, fill in the blank. Like for Maya, it would be the goddess Maya. That is the month for her. February, loving on Maya. That's what she's going to do, right? Self-care in February. Yay, my job. Turtle energy. Yes. Deezer. I don't know what we're going to do without Venus. And this is why I'm telling y'all. I do not want y'all to be slip, tripped up, and fall. And I don't want y'all to be slipped up by that. Yeah, Libras and Tauruses. Yeah, Venus is resetting again. Now, we'll say this to you, that when Venus gets rebirthed, she will be rebirthed as a more gentle star. She'll be evening star, I think, this time, because she was a morning star this time. So when she gets rebirthed, she will be a softer version, a more giving version of herself. So we'll just be cheering her on. And we'll just have to really work with the energy of the moon, because the moon, she ain't going nowhere except for about 4 days out the month. So let's see here. Oh, you're welcome. All right, family. I have talked long enough. Y'all can see I feel better. I just had so much fun. I hope that y'all have enjoyed this evening. I hope that you have gotten something out of it. And I am working on mindfulness. I want to share more mindfulness practices. So if you have time, I'm just going to add on one more thing, just a few minutes, if you would allow me, my sisters. I want to do a mindfulness exercise. So if you can, you know, sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, that would be awesome. We're just going to do a little bit of mindful breathing. Won't take long at all. So let's just begin by taking a moment to allow your body to settle into a comfortable position. You can close your eyes or you can just look downward to limit any visual distractions. See if you can soften around any areas of physical tightness or tension. Maybe that means dropping your shoulders, wiggling your fingers, loosening your jaw, softening the muscles around the eyes, relaxing the belly. Noticing where your body touches the ground, the chair, or whatever you're sitting on. What does it feel like to have your body there? The weight of gravity pulling you down to whatever you're touching. We're simply grounding our energy throughout our body, bringing awareness to simply see what it feels like to be living in this body right now. Feeling the points of contact, just noticing any energies within the body and inviting a sense of ease and relaxation. And so today's primary practice will be mindfulness of breathing. Simply bringing awareness to what it feels like physically to be breathing without judging anything to be good or bad, right or wrong. Simply being curious about what it feels like to be inhaling and exhaling. And to have that pause in between the exhale and the inhale. So, with a soft belly and an open mind, I invite you to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, noticing the pause in between the exhale and then noticing the beginning of the next inhale and exhale, just relaxing the body. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. You can just continue with that. Breathing with a sense of ease, following its natural rhythm, noticing the air as it moves through the nostrils. Feeling the air as it goes out through the mouth. Noticing what it feels like to have the air move through the nostrils and the mouth. You might notice the belly rising and falling with each inhale, then exhale. Breathing with a sense of ease and curiosity, sensing into each breath, feeling the movements, the temperatures, staying with the sensations in each moment, the sense of kindness and ease, breathing in and out, feeling it without judgment, without anything being good or bad, right or wrong. Let's take a deep breath in together. Exhale. And we just give thanks for this now moment. We give thanks for life. We give thanks for all of our guides. We give thanks for the Great Mother, for the ancestors, for all of the Orisha, for the Divine Masculine. We just give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks for each and every individual goddess who has shown up here. If there are any brothers who are here, we give thanks for you being here, your gorgeous masculine energy showing up. We give thanks for our lives, for the opportunities. As the goddess Ma'at says, we give thanks for the good and the bad, because all of them are working in our favor. And so we can be optimistic, we can be hopeful, we can be grateful, we can be thankful for everything that happens in our lives. And we just take this moment to think of just a few things that we're grateful for as we move deeper into this day, into the night. I give thanks for all of you. Thank you for being a part of this Friday experience. Thank you to all of the sisters who are in the inner circle who show up here also. I appreciate you all. I do this kind of work week in and week out in the inner circle. So I would love it if you would join the inner circle. We're a beautiful community. It's very much like what you see here on Friday nights, actually. Or if you need a reading, I do have readings available. You can go to my website for that. But I thank you all deeply for being a part of my community. Little did I know how much these Friday sessions would help little old me, because we're just so much in isolation still. So thank y'all so much for showing up and spending this time with me. I hope that you've had a great time. I love you all. Wishing you an amazing weekend. Yeah. Awesome. Totally Rory. Thank you for coming. You just made me remember my two girls saw a moonbow. Wow. I love it when I see that. Yes, I love moonbows. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you. I appreciate you. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Thank you all so much, sister goddesses. I will see you all here next week for our spiritual happy hour. I don't really have anything besides water, so cheers to you all. And yeah, take it easy. Take it easy. We're going to be easy this weekend. We have until February the 4th to get through all of this, Mercury getting itself together with this retrograde. So thank y'all so much. Love y'all. And yeah, remember, let your goddess shine forth into the world. This is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, spiritual guide. Wishing you a wonderful evening. Peace and love.